Amid the vast expanse of the Andromeda Galaxy, there existed a planet called HumanityFYeah. Its vibrant, swirling skies were unlike anything humanity could imagine, with hues of gold and violet constantly shifting like liquid fire. On this planet, beings known as Firans thrived. They were a small, agile species with luminous, silvery skin and eyes that glowed faintly in the dark, the kind of beauty that could both terrify and enchant. Among them was a young girl named Lila, a Firan unlike any other. Lila had always been smaller than her peers, with softer features and a demeanor that often set her apart. She was inquisitive, curious about the stars and the stories of distant worlds. Firans, as a rule, avoided other planets and their inhabitants, particularly humans, whom they considered brutal and barbaric. The stories of human hunters who preyed on alien species were enough to keep most Firans grounded on HumanityFYeah, but Lila often stared at the stars, wondering what lay beyond their shimmering veils. One fateful day, her world turned upside down. While exploring a forbidden region near the planet's edge, she found herself face-to-face with a human spacecraft. The massive, metallic vessel stood in stark contrast to HumanityFYeah's organic beauty, its sharp edges and dull colors emanating an air of danger. Panic gripped Lila as she attempted to flee, but her movement caught the attention of the ship's scanners. Before she could vanish into the dense, glowing foliage, a beam of light enveloped her. It was unlike anything she'd felt before, warm yet unyielding, pulling her upward with an irresistible force. The world around her blurred, and within moments, she found herself inside the human craft. The air was colder, and the sterile smell of metal filled her sensitive nose. Her luminous eyes darted around, taking in a strange machinery and blinking lights. A man stepped into view, his face shadowed by a helmet. He removed it slowly, revealing sharp features softened by an expression of intrigue. His name, as she would later learn, was Captain Ethan Cole, a renowned explorer, and in the eyes of many Firans, a hunter. Lila's heart raced as she pressed herself against the wall, her silvery skin glowing brighter with her fear. Ethan raised his hands in what seemed to be a gesture of peace. "Don't be afraid," he said, his voice low and calm. "I'm not here to hurt you." But the stories of her kind screamed otherwise. Humans were ruthless, capturing aliens for profit, study, or worse. Lila's mind swirled with the tales she'd grown up hearing. Her survival instincts kicked in, and she attempted to bolt, but the door sealed with a hiss, trapping her inside. "Wait," Ethan pleaded. "I just want to talk." Her glowing eyes met his for a fleeting moment, filled with distrust and desperation. Yet there was something in his gaze, a softness, a genuine curiosity, that made her hesitate. He stepped back, giving her space, and motioned toward a small device in his hand. It emitted a soft hum as he activated it, and suddenly, she could understand his words. "You're real," he murmured, almost to himself. "I've heard of your kind, but never thought I'd actually see one." Lila's voice trembled as she spoke for the first time, her words alien, yet melodic. "Let me go." Ethan frowned, conflicted. "I can't. Not yet. My mission is to learn to understand. But I promise, I won't hurt you." Promises meant little to Lila, but she realized that her panic would only fuel his control. Instead, she decided to observe, to understand her captor as he sought to understand her. Over the following days, Ethan made every effort to show her kindness. He brought her food, albeit strange and tasteless compared to Firan delicacies, and attempted to converse. Lila, cautious and reserved, offered him only fragments of information about her planet and people. As time passed, she began to see beyond the stories. Ethan wasn't the ruthless hunter she'd imagined. He was a man driven by curiosity and a longing to bridge gaps between species. He spoke of Earth, its beauty and flaws, and how humans had both destroyed and cherished the wonders of their world. Lila found herself intrigued despite her reservations. One evening, as they gazed at the stars through the ship's viewport, Ethan shared a story from his past. He spoke of losing his brother during a mission to a distant planet, an experience that had shaped his desire to explore peacefully rather than conquer. "I've made mistakes," he admitted, his voice heavy with guilt. "But I want to be better. I want humanity to be better." Lila saw the vulnerability in his words, the sincerity that couldn't be feigned. For the first time, she wondered if fate had brought them together for a reason. Perhaps there was more to humans than the fearsome tales she'd grown up believing. But not all humans shared Ethan's ideals. The ship's crew, though small, was not entirely composed of explorers. One member, a man named Darius, had a reputation for valuing profit above all else. When he discovered Lila's presence, his eyes gleamed with greed. "Do you have any idea how much she's worth?" he hissed at Ethan. "Collectors would pay fortunes for a specimen like her." Ethan's jaw tightened. "She's not a specimen. She's a sentient being." Darius scoffed. "Spare me the morality lecture. If you won't act, I will." What followed was a tense standoff, one that left Lila caught in the crossfire. Darius's attempt to seize her was met with resistance from Ethan, and in the chaos, the ship's systems were damaged. An alarm blared as the vessel plummeted toward an uncharted planet, its engines failing. Lila's instincts took over. Despite her fear, she used her innate abilities to stabilize the ship, her glowing hands weaving through the controls with an otherworldly precision. The crash landing was rough but survivable, leaving the crew stranded on a lush, alien world. In the aftermath, alliances shifted. Ethan and Lila formed an unlikely partnership, their survival dependent on trust. Darius, begrudgingly, followed their lead, though his resentment simmered beneath the surface. Together, they navigated the challenges of the new planet, its dangers forcing them to rely on one another. As days turned into weeks, Lila began to see the nuances of humanity. She witnessed their capacity for both selfishness and selflessness, their flaws and their strengths. And in Ethan, she found a kindred spirit, someone who shared her yearning for connection and understanding. When rescue finally arrived, Lila faced a choice. She could return to Fira, to the safety of her people and the familiar comforts of home. Or she could take a leap of faith, trusting that her bond with Ethan could bridge the divide between their worlds. Fate, it seemed, had other plans for the little alien girl who once feared becoming the human's prey. Instead of prey, she became a beacon of hope, a living testament to the possibility of harmony amidst the stars. And as the spacecraft lifted off, leaving the uncharted planet behind, Lila knew her journey was only just beginning.